intentionally kept this book brief because I know you're busy. You can probably read it in less than 2 hours. You'll find that reading this book will be a good investment of your time. At the end of each chapter, you will find practical suggestions on how to weave these ideas into the fabric of your own marriage. If you desire greater sexual satisfaction, you must learn to love. Chapter 1. Love and Sex, the Perfect Combination. Contrary to popular belief, Hollywood did not invent sex. According to the most ancient Jewish writings, the Book of Beginnings, God looked at the man he had created and said, "It is not good for the man to be alone. I will make a helper suitable for him." The creation narrative continues. God caused the man to fall into a deep sleep, and while he was sleeping, he took one of the man's ribs and closed up the place with flesh. Then the Lord God made a woman from the rib he had taken out of the man, and he brought her to the man. The man exclaimed, "This is now bone of my bones and flesh of my flesh. She shall be called woman, for she was taken out of man." Then the Creator declared that the two would become one flesh. The account concludes with these words, "The man and his wife were both naked, and they felt no shame." Sex is beautiful. Based on this ancient creation account, Jews and Christians have always viewed marriage as a sacred relationship between a husband and wife, instituted by God. The sexual union between the husband and wife is seen as a living symbol of their deep companionship. That Adam and Eve were naked and unashamed indicates that from God's perspective, sex is beautiful. Throughout the Old and New Testament scriptures, God repeatedly affirms the beauty of sexual intercourse within the marital relationship. While the Bible records incidents of polygamy, fornication, sex outside of marriage, adultery, homosexuality, incest, and rape, these distortions of sexuality are never approved by God. Sexual intercourse, from God's perspective, is an act of love that binds the souls of a husband and wife to each other in a lifelong, intimate relationship. The purpose of sex. It is obvious that one of the purposes of relating to each other sexually in the context of marriage is for reproduction. God Himself said to Adam and Eve, "Be fruitful and increase in number, fill the earth and subdue it." Husbands and wives who love each other and express their love sexually provide the healthiest context in which to rear children. It is interesting that contemporary research supports this ancient biblical pattern. However, procreation is not the only purpose, nor the primary purpose of sexual intercourse within marriage. Far more basic are the psychological and spiritual dimensions of making love. As a husband and wife give themselves to each other sexually, they're developing a psychological and spiritual bond that unites their souls at the deepest possible level. Together, they can face the challenges of life because they are soul partners. Nothing unites a husband and wife more deeply than making love. On the other hand, if the married couple are simply having sex without love, this bonding does not take place. Thus, the couple become estranged, and their union will eventually dissipate. For some, divorce is the culmination of this estrangement. Having sex without love builds resentment and later hostility. God intends marital sex to be an experience of extreme pleasure. This pleasure is not limited to the physical sensation of orgasm. It also involves the emotions, the intellect, and the spirit. Sexual intercourse within marriage is designed to give us a taste of the divine. It involves the total person and brings waves of pleasure as we make love. An ancient example. The books of Hebrew poetry found in the Old Testament seek to capture this pleasure. Hear the words of a husband speaking to his bride. "You've stolen my heart, my sister, my bride. You've stolen my heart with one glance of your eyes, with one jewel of your necklace. How delightful is your love, my sister, my bride."